Hello?
We need to talk.
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 Welcome back to WNTT TV. I'm your host, Mr. KOA, alongside
Boy.
And we got two guests today.
Yes.
They have their own show.
Our own situation. It is called Foreplay.
Foreplay.
But individually, I am known as Jen.
And I'm Sandra.
And how did foreplay come about, and why foreplay? We all know what foreplay means, but why?
It actually does not mean that. It just turned into that. It's like the number 4
You can
play.
be as freaky as you
so
want to
the
be.
number 4 FOUR play, not like
Sure, you
foreplay.
can use code words.
And
if
it
you
was
want.
no, I
what foreplay
swear.
is. Okay.
You know
continue.
why? Because originally it was 4 girls. It was a blog that was meant to be 4 girls. So
Okay.
it was like, I don't know, somebody came up with it and we loved it because it just seemed dope. And then
now that you have 2.
Yeah, we just kept the name
rocked with it
because the logo was already done. Everything was already done. It's like
we stay true to it.
You say true to it. So,
Yes.
so you're just gonna pretend like 2 people aren't around anymore.
I mean, if they want to make a cameo, we're still friends with them, but it's just they weren't involved.
Do you ever feel like you're gonna change the brand, like at any point, or you're gonna continue with foreplay?
yeah,
Possibly.
possibly.
without the 2 girls?
So
I
what's
feel
it
like people
about?
like it. You know what? It's this thing. Like, have you guys read the book "Contagious" by Jonah
No, I have
something?
I have not. No.
It basically talks about like using common words in your branding. I mean, that's not why we did it, but like using common words in your branding. So when people like say that word, they'll think
You think about it.
of other things.
it's like a common word. So it's like easier for them to remember. So I feel like it's very catchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And
what's
people
it about?
hear
Like,
it, and
tell us.
people hear it, they obviously think it's like a sex. It's involved with sex or sexuality,
Podcast, or
but it's not.
show.
And aside from it, the 4 girls like not all being a part of it, and the 2 of us, we kind of stuck with the number 4 because we feel like we're multidimensional. We're not just our looks or how we necessarily brand ourselves. There's a lot more to us than meets the eye, pretty much.
Right.
So that's why we stuck with it.
It's almost like double personality for each of you guys.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Like quadruple, bro, not double.
Oh, 4 each. 4
Yeah,
each.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So a couple. Okay.
Yeah.
So in, I guess, the best way you guys could explain it, why did you guys start it, and what do you guys essentially talk about? I mean, I'm sure it ranges from different things. I've been on your show one time.
Yeah.
That was a while ago, but since then, have you guys evolved it? And I know you're moving, apparently, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about that. And I guess
So we essentially, we don't have, like, we didn't want to put it in a box and say, okay, we're only going to talk about this or we're only going to talk about this. We talk or do whatever we feel like and we feel like talking about. Like, we're multifaceted. So whether we want to talk about business, relationships, makeup, like literally anything that we feel like talking about, we bring it up. It's like our blog, like our lifestyle.
Okay.
Right? So we do a lot of different videos. We always like to include humor in it, but we do have like a talk show portion. And we will be transitioning into something a little bit new because of the move. But we'll see how that goes. It is like a lot of work. So in the past like little bit, we haven't been working on it so much just because we've been so busy. So before we were on like a schedule and it just wasn't working because we both travel so much. And you probably know, like 2 different people, 2 different schedules. It's so difficult to like find the right time. So now we've decided to like not stress about it and just like film when we feel like we want to film so that the content we produce is authentic and not like forced.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
So in this, I guess you're engaged now.
Yes.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Dangle it, yeah. We've had obviously lots of conversations about weddings, engagements, the ring, all that kind of stuff. Now that you actually have a little rock on your hand,
Yeah.
how does that feel to you? As like, there are women that, believe it's just a ring, it's just this. There are women that, we've had conversations where guys slave to get that thing, right? Because they feel like that's what the woman wants, or that's, what society.
I didn't want a ring.
You didn't want a ring.
I did not
she
want. I
didn't.
told him, I was like, I don't want a ring, and he's like, Are you serious? Like, how am I gonna go to your dad and ask for your hand without a ring? Like, what do I look like? And I was just like, I don't want, like, I'm not a blingy person. Like, if you know me, you know that I only wear like really fine jewelry
You're super simple
and very
when it comes to
minimal.
that.
Right.
Not like in high school. In high school, I used to wear like big jewelry, but now I only wear very minimal things. So I never like, and same thing with like, I only like gold, and gold rings I feel like are just ugly. Like, I'm sorry.
Engagement rings?
Yeah, gold engagement rings are not cute.
Yeah.
Because the gold makes the diamond look like yellow, and it doesn't look.
Sure. Okay. Well, now you have one.
Yeah, now I have one, so it feels
So how do you
all
feel
of that
now?
is
How do you feel
How
now?
you feeling?
good. It feels good. Like, it feels nice. I like the fact that like everybody knows. So it's like, okay, like it gives you like a breath of fresh air. Okay, I don't have to like keep my guard up. Like you already know. Like you see it, so don't chat to me. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Did you always talk with your hands, or did that start happening once you got the ring?
No, I was like.
Like, I'm telling you guys.
No,
Yeah.
I always talk with my
My eye
hands.
just kept catching the ring, so I was
No,
like,
no, I always talk with
Now you're gonna be all shy. Now you're gonna try to hide it, hold it
No,
down.
I always talk with my hands. I never was like a blingy show off person. I think I posted one picture of it and that's it. And it literally in that picture was majority his face. So like I just told him I wanted tattoos. I didn't want a ring. I wanted like a tat on my ring finger.
Right.
But he's really into jewelry. He's really into like watches. And he was really into like diamonds, and he like researched it, like all the different clarity and this and that. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. He's like, no. He's like, I know everything about diamonds now. Like he like researched it and found like the best one. And I love it. It's beautiful. It honestly is really beautiful. But it's not something that like I was like, oh my god, I need to have a ring. If I didn't get a ring, I would have been fine with that.
Right. And now your perspective.
I'm all about like the ring situation.
You're all about
really?
it.
I'm all about it. Yeah, I'm all about all that traditional stuff.
Okay.
So
How do
I
you
feel
think that
like
started? Do you think it's passed down from parents and like friends, or is that kind of? Do you feel even though everything we have, our perspectives were all taught in some sense, right?
yes, to your parents.
Do you feel like even though things are taught, do you feel this is a you thing, or do you feel this was literally put on you, like this feeling?
No, I feel like naturally, like I want it just for myself.
She's a flashy girl.
Why do you feel like that?
I don't think that I am flashy.
But you bougie.
Oh my god. Okay, I just feel like I want it because it's kind of a token of the relationship and like what we're about to go into. It's like a representation of that.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you've probably heard those stories where I don't know. I heard recently. A family member went and got their ring appraised and they found out the value of it was like nothing. So they were offended and heard about it. So it's kind of like, so our love is worth like $500.
I thought you just said
I thought
like
we were in a different direction for a second.
yeah. I thought she just said the ring was like a token of. So really, what you're saying is the value of the ring is
a token.
Is a
Yeah,
token of
that's
our
what I meant.
relationship.
That's what I meant.
Yikes. Okay.
Well, you
No,
guys
that's
have some
real.
opinions about that.
So I'm not gonna. I'll take you off the hot seat for a second.
No, leave her on the hot seat. What are you
Not
doing?
gonna kill.
Ruin it.
It's a show just. I'm not gonna kill her yet, but just
What?
just
You're not gonna kill me yet.
just to kind of get a clear sense of. So if you wait, are you talking to somebody right now? Not to blow it.
No, I'm actually newly single, like a few months
I said
single.
not to blow up your spot.
Yeah, not trying to blow her spot up, but
Not to blow up your spot.
but yeah. So okay, you're not talking to somebody yet, but when you do, or whenever that happens, and you fall madly in love with this guy,
Yeah.
and you know everything checks off all these boxes, like family, relationship, respectful,
I know where
boom,
this is
boom,
going.
boom, boom.
Oh,
like
Lord.
you're like he's fine, he's this, he's that, and you're like, yo, you're telling all your friends, everyone's like, yeah, he fits you, but he can't afford a big ass. He can't afford a big diamond.
So
Basically.
he can wait until he's ready to afford it.
Okay, but guys, you can get a nice ring.
You can get a nice
You can
ring,
get a nice
not
ring
for
for
like
5K.
25. Nah, I'm not saying like 25,000
I went to the jeweler
or
with him
something.
at the mall, and I saw one that was like literally under 4. That I was like, this is so nice.
Yeah, but
he's like,
you
nah.
don't care about diamonds. So you
Yeah,
care.
you're like when
true.
You care
when
about
she
diamonds.
when said under 4, you gave her a look like.
No, I did
You have a
not.
little-
What's your number?
I did
What's
not.
your number?
I don't have a number. It just
You
needs
must.
to look nice.
No, you must have a number.
I don't
Come
have a
on.
number.
You've
I
never-
really don't. I've never thought about that.
If you find-
it just needs to be what I like, and it needs to be nice. Because I feel like for women, when you get engaged, that's the first thing that everybody's asking and
No, of
looking at, and
course.
they're grabbing your hand and they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, girl, let me see it."
But
And if you're like ashamed or embarrassed of that, you're gonna feel like crap. Like
So-
you're not gonna want to share it.
I
with
respect
your
that, and
friends.
I definitely understand that. But you do understand like what you do. Like I watched a documentary on diamonds as well.
Okay.
And what you understand, what you think you like per se, they tier them for sizing, for carats, for this,
And
right?
clarity and all of that.
Right.
different
So do you think you have expensive taste? Because what you think you like is not going to be under 5K. I don't even know you like that in terms of
Yeah.
I don't even know your preferences.
that
I don't
it
have
would.
your,
I think that it would.
I think she would like a ring that's 5K.
I think I
Have
would
you been
too.
ring shopping? Have you been to
I have not been ring shopping.
Okay, so
but
you
have.
don't know
I
the
have.
things that you can get for like 5K. Like I went there and I was like, okay, like this is actually nice. Like I would totally wear this.
ring. Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
And it's nice.
And I
it's a
have.
nice ring.
So
and
with
you
my
can get
ex, I
things
did.
that like I know some people are big about size, but you can get things that make it look size like bigger. Like when you have a halo, if the crystals on the halo, or not crystals, whatever, diamonds on the
Diamonds.
halo
Sure,
are like
yeah.
a little bigger, and then the actual big diamond is smaller, it'll still make the ring look a
Appear
bit
bigger.
bigger.
Oh, so
yeah.
we
It can be
we're
finessed.
manipulating that.
Yeah, we
That's
can.
fine.
We can finesse the
Or
size.
some people, they don't even get a big ring. They get, it's called
Yeah.
a cluster. I only know this recently because otherwise I
Sure.
would have not known this. a cluster where you basically, your whole ring is like a bunch of small diamonds.
Yeah.
And
it
that's like
appears
super
Okay.
cheap, but it can appear to be,
a larger ring.
yeah.
Okay.
I can work with the budget, okay? Is
So
what I'm
how
saying.
so how much of it comes down to, because you mentioned before, as soon as you get engaged, people are gonna grab your hand. They're gonna look at all that type of
Yes.
stuff. How much does this play into it?
A lot.
Like a lot. Like
Okay, you're not gonna say no if the ring's not that nice.
out of
I'm
100.
gonna say yes, but then we're gonna go.
But then
get
you're
the
gonna be like,
ring
are you
fixed.
dumb?
Yeah, then we're
Yeah.
gonna go get the ring
Yes,
fixed.
but are you dumb?
Fixed or a new one?
The ring wasn't broken.
We're gonna get the ring fixed.
The ring's not broken.
Stop saying this. It's either fixed or a new one. It's not broken, so it's a new
They
one.
can fix it. They can take
ring
the
isn't
diamonds out
broken to
and
be-
melt the ring back down and recreate
No, you
the
can.
ring.
Most places you can exchange your ring. So like,
Yes.
you can. I only found this out recently, but you can like, let's say you buy it there, you can like sell it and then rebuy another one, or you can take the diamond, put it on
No,
another band.
I know
Guys,
what you're
there's
saying.
options.
Never want.
I know exactly
There's
what you're saying.
options.
They're telling us like we don't know that all they're saying is change the ring. like they're giving
Well, you
us
said
all
you
this
never went ring
runaround
shopping.
about-
I don't know what you know.
Say- all you're saying is I want a different ring. That's all. That's the baseline. What you're
Yeah.
saying.
Okay. You,
Nothing's
first of all,
being-
if you are getting a ring for a woman, you need to know what she likes.
Her
Don't
taste.
just go and buy what you think. Like
Send her
same thing with
friends
my
to
man. He
find
tried to say
out.
something,
he's
and I was
buying
like,
what he can afford.
I was like,
No,
but
absolutely what he
you
can
can
afford, but the
afford-
styling of it.
Exactly.
The styling of it, you can find out what she likes from her friends.
Yeah.
and if he can't afford that style,
Or
He
take
can
her.
afford a cheaper version of that style.
Yes.
Get a ring, get a diamond that's less
I'm
clear.
telling you, yes. Like the thing that makes diamonds expensive is the clarity and the cut.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can get a diamond that the thing is a majority, like the top 5 clarity or some the top 5 clarity or whatever, you can't even tell with your naked eye.
Yeah.
You
Whether
know,
it's
unless you're
clear
like
or
a
not.
diamond specialist.
Yeah,
So
you gotta be
unless you're like
looking
a
through one of
big
the-
jewelry diamonds person, they're not gonna know. So you can get a lower clarity, and that is what. Oh, am I too loud?
No, I'm saying exactly.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
So you just don't know because you haven't been. Like you can get a nice looking ring for 2 or 3K. I'm not even joking. You can.
Yeah.
So we can work with the budget.
And if you can go on vacation for 2 or 3K, you can buy a nice ring for 2 or 3K.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There you go.
so there's
settled.
a rule of thumb they say is
3 months salary.
2 or 3 months salary.
Okay.
Do you believe in that? That should be the
I
salary.
don't
Should be the
put a
cost of it.
number on it. I just need to
It just
like
needs to
the
look
ring.
nice.
I just
Yeah.
need to like the ring. It needs to be to my style, and I need to like be happy and proud wearing it.
But what if the ring looks so nice, is exactly your style, like how you like it, and you get it appraised and find out it was cheap? Right? Like,
Well, wait.
See what I-
Cheap is different from fake diamond.
No.
Yeah, because
no, but
the situation I was talking about earlier, it's
It's
a fake
fake.
diamond. Like it's sterling silver, cubic zirconia. Like
We're
it's
talking
what is
about.
wrong- what is
We're
wrong
talking
with
about
that?
it's less than $500.
Hold on,
like,
time out.
Okay, but
time
it-
out. But if you fell in love with it and you love how it looks, but it just turned out to be fake, what is the issue here?
The love is fake.
stop this.
I'm playing.
No, but
Even-
that,
I
like,
just-
dead
I
serious
just- I
question.
just-
Is it because he said like, oh, this is a diamond
Yeah,
ring?
It's deceptive, yeah.
Yeah, it's deceptive. Exactly.
But
I
if he
feel like you
didn't
misrepresented
So if
the
he didn't
ring.
state what it was, he just proposed to you like a man, just said, "Here, you be my
But I
wife."
think it's kind of common knowledge that it's supposed to be a diamond ring.
Supposed to be common knowledge. Where are these things coming from, say?
Society.
Society.
Ah.
Yo, so what do we get?
Huh?
What do we get?
Huh.
See what I mean?
A wedding band.
cards.
Me.
You get the woman of your dreams.
Holy.
Hello.
A bride.
Hello.
A foot rub.
She really looked at me and said, huh? Like, what?
Okay, you guys are asking for too much now. You get
So
the ring is for the woman.
Yeah,
You'll
you
get
got
yours
wedding
later.
band,
Like,
all
What
don't
do we
worry.
get? What do we get?
We don't get nothing.
Obviously,
We don't get
you don't get an
nothing.
engagement ring, but you get a wedding band.
All right.
See how they said that too?
You get
Like,
our, you get
yeah,
you
you
got
get a
our
little
love and
wedding band.
affection for the rest
It's
of
not
your
little.
life.
a little wedding band.
It's not little.
It's also not sick. Like, you know that it's not. You just
can
talked
be.
about how, like,
It can be.
So what is your guys' perspective on this man bashing culture we're in right now?
You think we're in man bashing culture?
Oh, absolutely. Do you disagree?
I don't believe that I feed
Do you
into the
disagree?
man bashing culture.
I don't disagree, but I
okay.
don't necessarily agree. Like I see
What's your
both sides of it.
What is your other side?
I don't think that everybody man bashes, but there's definitely a lot of it.
Everyone
out
doesn't
there.
do everything. Of course
Yeah,
not.
there's
I
definitely
just-
a lot of it out there. But like,
Okay.
it's just normal in anything. In anything that we do as a society, we generalize. Like we always do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We do it with culture. We do it with like personality types. We do it with like what people look like. We always generalize. And so same thing with men. When we say something, we generalize and we say, oh, all men do this or all men do that, right? But
That's true. I agree.
or it's like a lot of times it's taken from your personal experiences. Like how many like why'd you guys do this?
Yeah.
But
And it
not
just ends
all
up being
guys
every
do
guy
that.
that you were with does that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just all the trash
Yeah.
guys that you happen to pick.
So you now your dynamic. You guys are obviously best friends.
Yeah.
Right. So, what is the dynamic of one best friend being married potentially,
Okay.
and the other best friend being single?
What does it matter?
It definitely matters,
Yeah.
first of all.
Yeah.
Because you are not having two different experiences at the exact same time in your friendship, right?
That's
you,
true.
Yeah.
You can't talk to her about certain things anymore because you're giving from a skewed perspective as now an engaged person. You might have your perspective when you were single, et cetera, et cetera. She can't really give you advice as an engaged or married woman because she's not.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, this is what I would do if I was, but you're not.
Yeah.
So like, how do you
Navigate it.
how do you
Yeah.
how do you feel you guys are gonna navigate at this? It's a different stage. You've never been at the stage where you're like, we're not both single. We're not just dating guys. Like I'm literally about to be married. I'm still single, doing what I feel like doing. Like not talking to guys, curving guys, whatever you're doing right now, right? So
Yeah.
how do you guys think you're gonna? How do you plan? I should say, because you have no idea. But how do you plan to navigate this change in your friendship? Because it's gonna change, just so you guys know. Like,
I feel like we find common ground on like other things. Well, as of right now, I don't know how it will be in the future. But for example, like I just got out of a relationship that was long distance, and you know what it is to be in like long distance relationships. So we find common ground on certain things like that. Like, well, you argue more or your arguments are harder to get through with your partner because you're not seeing each other. Like we find common ground on other things other than just the status of I'm single and you're engaged.
And I also feel like you don't need to be in that situation to give somebody advice on
you've
that
been
situation.
there before.
Like
Well,
that's something
I've
that people
never
say,
been
but you
there
don't
before,
like. How many times have you given advice to somebody and you've never actually been in their physical situation?
I don't
Yeah.
believe that type of advice personally.
You don't believe
You
it?
don't?
No, me personally, no.
you base it off of experience.
Someone who has not dealt with or been with in a situation cannot give me advice of that. A
So
rich
how
person,
do you
someone
deal
who-
with a situation that you've never dealt with before? You use your past experiences to deal with the situation
You
that
just
you're
said if the
facing
person
now.
hasn't been in that situation.
I know, but I'm saying you. For example, you
Right.
walk into a new experience that you've never been in before.
Correct.
How do you know how to deal with it?
You don't.
use everything that you use all of your life
That's
experiences
Yeah,
to
but
navigate
I can,
how you're gonna.
I will
like,
use that
go
based
through
on my
that.
own
So the same
experiences.
person could do that.
But I
Like,
can't-
how would I deal with that situation?
Yeah, but you can't tell me based on how you would potentially do it if you haven't done it. I can use my own judgment because it's my situation. But I'm not gonna take advice from someone who hasn't been in it either, right?
Yeah, you don't have to, but you can.
No, but
Somebody
that-
can give advice on that.
Someone can give advice for anything.
I think that
People-
a person can give fair advice in a situation that they haven't.
No one's saying
been-
it's not fair.
Been in.
No one's saying it's not fair. No one's saying they can't do it. What I'm saying is the validity of someone giving you advice on something they've never been through, never experienced, is just them talking and just hypothesizing, right? If
But they have experienced it, just not firsthand. For example, marriage.
How
She's
they-
experienced marriage through her family, through the people that she knows that
That's
are
not
married, but she's never
experiencing-
married. She's
What?
never been married herself.
That's not experiencing marriage.
But you don't think she hasn't learned something about marriage from being around her
like
mom,
a
from
certain
being around
opinion
Like you
on
guys
it.
talk about marriage all the time on here. You
We're
never
also
been
not
married?
saying we're
No,
experts on marriage.
But no, but
Well,
just
that's
because you
not-
give somebody advice doesn't mean you're an expert.
That's what we're saying.
But that's why I'm saying I couldn't take advice from someone who hasn't potentially. You can say whatever you want. You can say this is what I think. This is
Yeah.
but to take advice and like if someone wants to become rich, for example, and someone's never experienced being rich, never knows is terrible with their money financially, but they're like, this is what I know you could do with your money, but they're terrible with their money. I'm not taking advice from someone like that.
Or you're probably gonna take
Like
that serious.
they can be
grain of
like, well,
salt.
I've been around rich people. Like I have a lot of rich friends. It's like, yeah, but you're terrible with money.
Yeah.
Why are you telling me how to?
But they
Yeah.
could. But the thing
I
is,
don't
they
care.
could know something that they haven't,
What
but
is-
they haven't put into action that could help you. Have you given a marriage, like, have you talked about marriage and given advice or tips on, not specifically, oh, this is what you do if you're in a marriage, but you've
Right.
probably talked about that on your show before.
Or you've probably given advice to someone in a relationship and a situation that you've never been in specifically.
Oh no, okay. You'll give them. You can basically assess something. If someone gives you this is the information
Okay.
I have.
Okay.
With the information you have, what are options? What are best routes, or what is a potential outcome based on
Yeah.
what you know or what you would do? And I only
Yes.
answer questions on what I would do.
Hypothetically.
Because I would never say this is what you should do. You'll never
No,
actually.
but that's not how you, like, yeah, I don't.
But that's essentially that's the situation you're putting each other in, right? This is what you should do based on what I think or based on what I know.
But I don't feel like we ever talk like that. You should do this.
No,
We simply just talk about
Not
emotion, and the person
Yes.
just talks about like what they know from their experiences and what they've learned. Like,
Yeah.
like so I honestly I don't know if you felt it, but I haven't really felt a difference since I've got engaged or
I
anything
feel like
like
we
that.
just find common ground on different things. I also will say that I feel like our female friendship, and girls are probably gonna say this, it's different. Like my friends are different, but I just generally feel like now, and it hasn't always been the case, but I feel like I have genuine female friends. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times females are in friendships where they're competing and comparing themselves to their friends, and they'll tear their friends' situations down because they're not there yet. So it's like me hating on Sandra and her relationship because she has a ring and I don't.
But like
and now
subconsciously
I'm all
and
bitter.
like low key, yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna make little comments and say little things just because I'm not there yet. A lot of
they
females do
definitely
have
have,
friendships like that.
Yeah.
I just feel like we don't have that in our friendship and our close circle of female friends.
Yeah, because I'm not the first one to get engaged.
It might be a blanket statement, but I feel like that only happens to girls.
That's what I'm saying. I noticed it. Yeah, a lot of female.
You think so?
Yes,
a lot of female friendships are like that.
Guys low-key undercut each other in different ways.
Not
in terms of marriage.
Yes.
Right? Like guys, I do
Not
agree
marriage,
with you. Yeah,
no.
I do agree with you. Like guys will undercut each other in certain situations.
Yes.
It could be like definitely in sports. It happens all the time.
Yes.
And it kind of passes as a joke a lot of the time.
Yeah, like social experiences that happens in that regard. But if one of my boys gets married, like I'm not looking at him thinking, damn, I need to get married. But what happens is if I reach a certain age and I'm not married, it might cross my mind where I'm like, damn, like I'm out here by myself while all my boys are having kids, right? That's when things like that start to come into play. But I've always wondered, like, why is it that women do get competitive in those situations, right? Especially if they've known each other for so long. Like, why do you think
I think it's a societal like norm. Women are taught to compete with other women and see them as like an enemy. Even if a girl like comes into the room, you don't know her, you don't know anything about her. Oh, like she's that, she's that. Like they like to size up other women and like make conceptions of like conceptualize them and then just like put them in a box, like and make it seem like they just create kind of like issues in their head. Like
because we've always been competing with each other in terms of not us, but I'm saying women in general, like who's the prettiest, who's this, or which girl has like, you know, in high school, like that's even like something that was a common topic.
Catty,
Like which person do you think is the prettiest? Which person do you think has the best body? Like that was like a normal thing to like, you know?
Honestly, if you think back to high school, it was pretty like ruthless. Sometimes I think back to the conversations that I heard was a part of, and I'm like, damn, like this could never happen today.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's true. I mean, it's very sensitive now, right?
Ignorant, and we were really ignorant. Like I think kids in general oftentimes are very ignorant.
Yeah.
You don't realize like how you're affecting and how, like when I hear younger kids talk now or like the way they speak to each other, I'm like, whoa, like they're so rude. And then I think back on like different situations, and I'm like, wow, like I was so rude and I was so ignorant in so many situations.
Because you just didn't know what the hell you were
Yeah,
really
you just thought you were the smartest kid on the block, and you like you know, like you could say anything to anybody.
Yeah.
Dude, we
You
were
thought you were grown.
pretty much savages as children.
No, it's. I mean, kids definitely they're more. I think kids right now, especially with social media, because they're growing up in it, are way more outspoken than we were.
Yeah.
And the lines of respect are now blurred. Like I think as kids, like we still had the view like that's an older person. Like you still like even if like us right now we're in our 20s. As a kid, we're old. Like that's an older person. If you're in your 20s, like it's still like, oh, he's 22. Like, oh, like, you know what I mean? We still had somewhat of a respect for someone that's older than us.
Yeah.
In the sense that like we won't just approach them like they're a kid. We won't just talk to them and just ask them questions like they're a kid, or we'll say excuse me, like a little bit more than kids now. Like now it's like I can follow this guy on Instagram. Like I'm gonna talk to him like he's
like a
he's
16,
whatever. Like
17-year-old is saying that.
Yeah, like it's nothing. Like it was funny because I was doing a shooting at the school a couple of days ago, and I put this in my story. But a little like I think he might have been 10 or 11 years old, and I'm shooting the event, and he comes up to me. He's like, "Are you rich?" And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "Are you rich?" And I'm like, Why are you asking me that? Why are you asking me that? And I'm literally shooting the event, and he's like, he's looking at me. He's like, you got gold in your shoes. You have gold glasses on. You have a gold watch. You have a big camera on. A little bit of gold in your hat. Are you rich? And I'm like, what do you consider rich? He's like, do you have a lot of money? And I was like, yo, who is this kid? Yeah. And I was like, I have money to pay for things I need to pay for. He's like, And he just left.
Yeah, like true.
And I'm like, who is this kid?
Yeah, like where are your
all these
parents?
Yeah, but
questions.
but the thing is, like, I would never do that.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I would never, like, you might see a guy walking with chains and jewelry and whatever as a kid, and you'd be like, in fact, you'd probably just respect him. You'd probably just be like,
You're
oh,
whoa,
wow, like,
all right, chill. Yeah.
that's money. Like, oh, like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna walk up to him and be like, yo, how much is that? Like,
Yeah, how'd you get that?
Yeah,
what
like,
do you do to get all of
what
that?
do you do? Like, you know what I'm saying?
How different do you think high school would have been for us if we had social media back then? Like the way it is today. How different?
Man.
Especially
It's way
our
different.
generation. Like how
I
different?
think it would have been worse. I think there would have been more bullying because at that time we were. I know
More
what you're
bullying?
saying. Yeah, but I feel like the kids nowadays. From what I see, are a little bit more woke. Like, I just downloaded TikTok recently,
Yeah.
and it's all like teeny boppers on there.
Yeah.
And like, I'm just looking at the things that they're talking about and how inclusive they are, and like, I just find that they're not all of them, of course. Like again, I'm not if we all generalize, but they seem to be a little bit more woke and a little bit more caring of like other people and supportive of other people.
Yeah.
And like back in high school, I remember that really wasn't the case. Like
Yeah.
if someone was bullying someone, everybody would just like join in or laugh, or nobody would really be like, stop. You know
Aware
what I
of
mean?
what's going on.
Yeah, because I remember certain individuals in high school that were not like mentally all there, and like how we used to bully them. And I remember just like not like engaging in it, but just like laughing and like not
Do you
really
think there'd be
doing
more
anything about
bullying
it.
with social
I
media?
think so, yeah,
Why
because
more?
at that time
with
we
our
weren't
generation,
woke.
yeah.
We weren't woke. We weren't like as caring as like I feel like not everyone, but as the new students are. So if we had more access to like seeing people on their
Yeah.
Instagram and what they post and we'd have more access to making fun of them.
Mm.
You know, back in the day, they created those websites and then they put
Yeah,
your
it was
picture
more
on
like
it. Like,
just web-based.
imagine
Yeah.
being able to do that like super quick on like Instagram.
Yeah.
You know, create a hate page for somebody on Instagram. Like,
Yeah, there was enough hate pages back in the day.
yeah, so I really
Yeah.
think that it would have been worse, to be honest.
Like I think the only reason why kids today are so woke, though, is because it came
With the culture though.
it
Yeah.
came with
Like
the
we-
culture,
Like woke
but it's
culture,
Like,
pretty
but it's
much,
I think
ruining it.
our generation, as we got older, a lot of us started to have those conversations more and it trickled down.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like our generation grew up and was just like, okay, we're gonna change the narrative and how we speak.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it definitely didn't come from like our parents and stuff
No.
like that.
No.
But I agree with you. Like if we were in high school and we had social media, things would be very, very different. Like it might be a lot worse in terms of people being savage, but we spoke about this before, I can't fathom being like a kid today in high school, like trying to date as a dude. I couldn't imagine that because you go on social media today and there are girls who just have like thousands of followers
Yeah.
and they're the same age, like they're young, just like
They're in
these
your
guys.
class.
They're in your
Yeah.
class.
Like you might be in a class with someone with
Same,
50K
yeah.
followers.
50, and
in
that's
your classroom.
normal, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of wild when you really think about that, right?
Yeah.
Because their access to things is like 10 times
It's
what
very
yours
different.
is.
It's very
Yeah,
different.
If you're just that kid sitting in their class.
It's also like what separates like income classes in society, kind of now
Yeah.
follower classes, you know,
'Cause
like
they could be making
who's
money.
IG famous, who's not,
Yeah.
you know, so that also like separates, like it makes them like go into like the high end or popular group, and it's like another layer.
You know what it is? I heard Ryan Reynolds, he said recently his daughter wanted to get into acting, and his daughter's like maybe like 6 or 7, and he looked at his daughter and was like, no, you're not doing it till you're like older.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Fallon was like, why? Like, why'd you tell her no? Like, it runs in the family. And he's like, because it's literally not sane, right? Like, to put
Yeah.
a child in front of a camera and like have them become famous at a young age, like mentally, you just cannot process it.
Right.
It's an adult like
Yeah,
responsibility.
because you need, what ends up happening is, that's why child stars will have
Like their parents.
like managers or parents like doing everything for them because they can't manage it. So imagine being a kid in high school today having like hundreds of thousands of followers or like millions of followers, like that definitely skews the way you look at things like very
For sure,
differently.
Sure.
That's the more now that you bring that, like, so we obviously back like pre-social media days in our high schools, we still had popular kids, but we would deem them popular,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you're in my school, like I was popular due to just being an athlete and just, you know, the people I knew, whatever.
about to say
but
that
I,
it's based
but I
off of
didn't.
that stuff.
I didn't say I'm popular. There's no page for me. It was just the school decided. Like this
That's
is just
right.
this
There's
is
no
how-
like number or calculation
it's
or
just-
like figure
It's
to
just
how
like
popular
days
you
go,
are.
like everyone starts school 0, right? Like
Yeah.
no one knows anything, but you come from your little crews from grade 7, grade 8. When you're in high school, like you guys just come, you know each other, everyone has their cliques. But everyone in the school itself, no one knows nothing. Nobody knows anybody. No one can carry on like I don't know who this guy is. Like you can't just walk around like you're the guy. Like who is this guy? You're in grade 9 too. Like you know what I mean? So everyone's at the zero playing field. And as the years grow, like grade 9, grade 10, like people start to determine, okay, that's the pretty girl, that's the athlete, like, and then the school just accepts this, and then this just becomes like
these are the titles.
No, like it just becomes this is just what it is, like
pretty much right, like the animal kingdom.
Seriously,
the way it moves,
and so it's like everyone just accepts like this is the role, like like he's the best player, so he's popular. She's the prettiest girl in the school, so she gets, and whoever's around her, they get the fall off from her. Like that's the pretty girl's friends, so they get the fall off. Like we just determine this. So now, in high school, when social media determines who's popular. Right? And then you can just check right now. I can go to your page and like, oh, 100K followers. You're in my class. It's like, now you don't even have to say anything. You walk into class, everyone knows who you are. What's your Instagram? You're like, boom, boom, boom. They're like, oh, 100K. Oh.
That's the 100K.
Like, right? So like now you didn't even say anything. You didn't do anything. You just transfer to school today, right?
Yeah,
and now
true.
you're the most popular girl in the school just because people found out what your Instagram was, right? So now it's like, how you even navigate in school, you automatically have this like, no one's more than 100K?
Yeah.
Like
I'm popping.
No one's more than 100K here. Like you know what I'm saying? Like now you get this like entitlement automatically.
It's true.
Right?
You know what's like a wild example? It might be different because they're the son of like famous people, but
like kids?
Like Bronny.
LeBron
James'
famous
son,
kids.
Right? So like for example, like
that's true.
He first year of high school?
Right now?
Yeah, he's first year of high school right now.
He's 14, yeah.
Yeah, so first year of high school.
Wow.
He's LeBron James' son.
son.
So off that, he already has a lot of followers, right? But then I swear at one point, Drake like
wore his jersey.
Yeah. Like he wore 14-year-old kid's basketball jersey because he's friends with LeBron and was just like, repping Bronny. Imagine being in school, like you already have 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
And arguably one of the biggest artists on the planet just posts a photo of your jersey.
Yeah.
Like,
and we all see it. Like the whole school sees it.
Literally, I couldn't imagine what that would do to you mentally. Right? Because party's probably looking at it like, yo, this is sick. But everyone around you is looking at you like, yo, do you know Drake? Like, you're gonna call, like,
there's these expectations that have now been kind of put on you.
It probably comes with a lot of, like, I feel like I would have a lot of anxiety because, like, on top of that factor, he's famous. Like, you don't. Like, you have to realize that at that stage, your life is a lot more at risk. Like, you're open, even on social media, like, sharing anything. You never know, like the crazy people that are out there. I feel like I would have a lot of anxiety over it.
I feel like some of these kids gotta have burner accounts.
Like a fake account?
Yeah, no, for real. Because, no, like, straight up, think about it like this. Like, Bronny, again, an example.
Yeah.
If I'm a kid in high school, I'm on social media all the time. Like, I be posting stories and all that type of stuff.
You're saying he's not doing it from a Bronny account.
Yeah, they're not doing that. So it's like they can't be for that reason.
Yeah, you can't.
Like, they
my
can't
dad will see this. The whole NBA will see this. Like everyone.
Come on, you know what you're up to when you're in high school.
Yeah.
It's a lot of responsibility for a kid at a young age.
Now you have all these eyes on you.
Because you know that what you do, because you're in the limelight, what you do is gonna stay in history forever. It's not like when you do something dumb in high school, nobody really knows about it anymore because it's 10 years later.
You don't even need to be famous anymore.
Yeah, you don't.
That's true.
You don't even need to be famous. Like, you could do something on social media today, get paged for it, and people will not let you forget it. Like
unless you do something bigger that was good. And people will still remember it. But they'll remember it less.
Bring out that BS.
Yeah, but they'll remember it a lot less.
That's true.
So speaking of social media, since we're on this topic, you guys listen to Pop Smoke or did?
I did.
Do you listen to Pop Smoke? No,
not really.
So Pop Smoke, you know who he is at least?
Yeah, I heard he passed away, right?
He didn't pass. Well, he
got like a house invasion.
He was killed. Yeah.
He was killed.
So Pop Smoke is a 20-year-old rapper. Was a 20-year-old rapper. It sounds weird even saying that, but he was 20 years old. He rose to fame really quick, made like really like popular rap songs, whatever. But the stuff he was saying in his songs was like gun stuff, gun talk, like
it's drill music, right?
Like, you know what I mean? Which was it's popular obviously in today's days, right? I listen to all his stuff. I love this stuff. But so apparently no one really knows how this happened, but he was in Beverly Hills yesterday morning. And somehow apparently he might have had a party the night before. Some people were in the house, some people weren't out of the house, whatever, but he was robbed and murdered in his house.
Actually, I don't think anything was taken. It was a home
Home
invasion.
Is that his
invasion.
house though? Because it looked like a warehouse or something.
No.
It's a house.
It's a house
in the
he had,
hills
yeah.
that he was staying
That
at.
he was staying at.
Oh, okay.
So
there's like a lot of boxes.
they stayed robbery, but nothing was taken, and it was obviously just a hit,
It was a
right?
home invasion,
Yeah.
But the issue is, I've read a lot of different stuff about it. The issue is like, he is 20, right? Which means he's a kid. Which means I don't think like it's not his fault because he's grown into it.
Yeah.
But like he got famous so quick that I don't think he put the right things in place to protect himself.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Like he didn't. Remember, like he's 20. Like
Yeah.
He can't even drink in the U.S. If
so like we forget
Yeah,
that like
he's a
these
kid.
people get popular and famous. We just assume like, oh, if you're popular and famous, like you're good. But like he's a 20-year-old kid. To him, he's like, I'm rich. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
My boys are here. I'm in LA. Like yeah, everyone come through. Like people. Like he's not even aware that like to have security, to have people get checked. Like he's not even. He's just like I have a party. Come pull up. Like and that essentially ended up killing him.
And this is the crazy part too. Going back off of what you said, I saw Marlon posted. He posted the day before on his Instagram story like some packages that he got.
I saw
with
that.
the address.
And there was a photo of the
Address.
address, right? So going back to what you said, like there's some things you just can't
do.
ever do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
You have no idea who sees that.
He didn't cover up the address?
No, again, we're saying that. Like,
Yeah.
As an adult,
Yeah.
you're like, I'm never posting my address somewhere.
Yeah.
But as a kid that just grew up in Brooklyn, that just does what he wants to do, he's like, oh, ship it. Like, we know, like,
You're excited.
if you
got,
get a package, you post and you blur your address, like, because we've been taught this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? We've been known that, like, okay, you have a license plate, block your plate. Like,
Yeah.
even though no one's coming for me, like, no one's really coming for you.
Yeah,
You just
But
know.
it's just a safety thing that we've been taught.
Yeah, it's
They're
just
like,
yeah.
don't show your address, don't show your plate, don't leave your keys. Like just little things that we're now used to. But like
Yeah.
as a kid, which most likely I'm assuming, I don't know, but you might not have a father figure. And if he did, it probably wasn't the best father figure, right? So something that's simple to us, that's like, why would you post your address? He's like, it's my bag. It's like, well,
You can't
you're pot
do
smoke.
that.
You're like,
yeah.
you're pot smoke talking
that's
about
really sad.
guns and killing and this and this and this, and people probably don't like you. Yeah, but like it's my bag. Like it's just so naively
Yes.
normal.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which
And at some point, they probably feel like invincible, like, because everyone's supporting them, everyone loves them, everyone, like, they mostly feel the love, and then the hate is there, but it's like,
it's crazy.
You know?
Yeah.
It's crazy you use the word invincible because he just made a new album before he passed, and the first track on his album is called Invincible.
are you serious?
Yeah.
First track is called
track.
Invincible.
Yeah,
Like, it's
that's
funny
what I
you even
feel
said,
like,
like-
especially from like the rap artists.
just
I
get
feel
on
like
a high.
They really feel like super invincible. Like they forget like that. Like real life
Not
happens.
everyone
Like
likes you.
people go and do stuff like that.
Yo,
People
you
will
see-
go to your
Target.
house and shoot you. Like that is not like, especially when you're in that genre. Like you really need to be careful and like protect yourself.
Yeah.
You see it in like all facets, man. Like even talking about like YouTube, those dudes, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Logan Paul and like I can't remember
Is it
Jake
yeah.
Jake and Logan Paul. Like
Yeah.
One of them is dating like Tana Mojo or something, right?
But I forget all the time looking at them that they're actually young. Like they're not.
Yeah, they are.
They're not my age. I look at the older one. I think he's my age, but he's not.
Like the young 20s?
They're like 24 and like 22
okay.
and something like that. But
Yeah.
they're dumb rich. Like
Yeah.
they're living next to people like Justin Bieber and
Yeah.
all this. So
Yeah.
they come from like a small town in Ohio.
They just blew up.
Wow.
So they blew up like crazy, but then you see them doing reckless things because they're just like, I can just do this.
and that's what their content
And
is about.
especially,
too.
Yeah.
I feel like YouTube sometimes is a bit much because people are really just doing stuff for clicks
Yeah.
and to keep their momentum going on their page, and they're putting out content that's not true to themselves or like,
Yeah.
but they're young, as we said, they don't know like branding yourself and your
Yeah.
perception, what you're trying to like put out there about yourself. They're just like, well, I need to do what gets me the most views and keeps getting me a paycheck.
I think what's scary about their situation though is because so to play devil's advocate, I think that they actually know their branding and they're okay with putting out this perception of themselves that's like super messed up.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
even that in itself is
People like hot mess for
Right,
entertainment
like-
purposes. Yeah, that's true.
like
That's so true.
I will be busy, I'll be doing whatever I need to do, and I'll catch myself watching a hot mess in the background on TV.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why
is this entertaining?
Why is this entertaining to me? Like, I don't understand it. And
yeah.
I think it's just
a man running down the street and boxing him in the face. You're like, why do they keep watching this clip over and over again?
You know?
Like, what does that make me?
Keep in mind, like, simple things, guys.
Like, man. So, we obviously, you guys have your own perspectives on things. We like having, females on the episode because you guys have obviously a different perspective on certain things. Is there any question you guys have towards men that you're like, you guys already said, you're like, oh, why do guys do this? Why do guys do this? Blah, blah, blah. Is there anything you guys talk about in your show that you both argue about, but you're always just by yourself? Yeah, so it's always you, and you're just bashing by yourself. It's just like, you're like, yeah, I know.
But like, I don't understand why they do this.
Yeah. But now you can ask two guys, anything you can think of like off rip or anything you might have just recently discussed that you're like very curious about, just like, obviously we can't answer for all men, but we can answer our own perspective on why we may, if we do these things.
Yeah.
Is there anything you could think of that you're like,
do you have one
that bothers you about?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay, so there's this, I was like, I got
She's like, ready.
No, there's this one thing that I found like in literally almost every relationship that I've ever been in, that I find that men oftentimes, like, they have this whole perception of you, we're in the social media, like, world, you can see who I am and what my personality is like before you even decide to approach me, right?
To a certain extent.
Or at least an idea.
To an extent. Yeah.
To an extent.
You're putting out what you want us to know, but
yeah.
But go ahead.
And I find that oftentimes what happens is that a lot of people, they like see this perception of you, but then they think that if there's something that they may not like or they may not want, that's gonna change once you guys are together. Example.
Like something they've seen already?
Yeah,
something
like something that they know about you. And I feel
media.
like that, and they just feel like that's normal. I feel like why do men like approach a woman that has a quality that they don't like? Why? If you don't like it, just stay away from it.
I think for the same reason.
The same reason you guys do.
Yeah, for the same reason that women like bad guys and they're like,
I
don't understand those women either. I don't understand those women either.
We do the same thing though. Like, I personally.
Like, for example, I don't want to date a hoe. So if I see you, sorry.
That's fine.
For example, I don't want to date like a guy who's like loose out there, whatever. So if I see you're always at the club, you're always around girls, you're always this, I will never approach you because you're not the type of person that I want to be with.
Right.
Okay.
First of all, like, I know I'm engaged now, but I'm just saying before, right? So like, if I see that, I'm not gonna think, oh, but once he gets with me, he's not gonna go to the club or he's not gonna be partying with girls or he's not gonna.
He's gonna calm down.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, no, like you're not. You have that characters, and that character is not for me.
What's your question in reverse? What would be an example your way?
So for example, the same thing. You could do a girl that like always goes out, always whatever. You could
and
do
oftentimes
happens.
He's trying to stop her from partying now, kind of thing.
Yes.
Or something that always happens is like, for example, the way a woman dresses, right? Like
scandalous or whatever.
Very scandalous, revealing. But then when you're with her, it's like, oh, but I don't really like that as much. But you met me in like a bikini.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
that is true.
Yeah.
That is true. We've dealt with that.
Sure.
Have you dealt with that? We talked about that so many times.
Look, straight up, I think that's wild. Like, I think it's wild of a guy to fully say, hey, I don't know if you should leave the house like that. But it's like, I met you looking like that.
Yeah.
And that's what I've known you as. When I look at your gram, like, you're barely wearing clothes. Like, this is what I know about you. So for someone to say, all right, this has to change, that's a little problematic because you knew this going into it.
But I know why.
But I don't feel like they...
Why?
I want to
know
why.
Why?
Why?
Okay, because whatever you were doing got him, right?
Yes.
And now that you've been got... He's like, why are you still doing this? Like, like the thing is, if you keep doing it, you're gonna get other guys. Like that's you got me like this, right?
Yeah. So are you still trying to get people? What if that? What if it wasn't for the purpose of getting you? It was just what they are.
You don't have a choice. You don't get to choose.
No. Stop. Hold on.
So now I'm gonna stop wearing makeup.
No, stop.
Like, come on. Like, I get you. That was a very good point.
We're not saying stop. It's like, well, you don't get to choose how this comes off to guys. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You can choose what you want to do, but you can't.
But that's not my responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah, but look, I know it might sound messed up, but all this dating stuff is very primal at the end of the day.
It's a game.
It's a game. Like it's a game and it's
so
very primal. And it's like
man.
I'm not stupid. Like I know if I go out certain places and do certain things, like it's gonna gain certain attraction.
Yes.
Even if I know myself, I'm not gonna go and do anything. I'm aware of what's gonna come with it, right? So I think what upsets guys the most in those particular situations is like the naiveness, like
of you thinking
it's the naiveness of you thinking that like, okay, I'm with you, I'm with you. You know that I love you. That's it, right? So when I go out looking like this, nothing's gonna happen. And it's not that we think you're gonna do anything. It's that we know that someone else is gonna try, right? And it's like, for me personally,
but somebody could try with you wearing sweatpants,
and it's
looking like
but
putting a bun in your head and at the store.
It's a double standard, and I'll openly admit that. Because
it definitely
for guys like,
because you don't have to change anything that you did.
We're not sexualized like that.
We're not sexualized again.
But that's not my problem as a woman.
Your problem.
That's actually your guys' problem as a male society. Like that, the notion that I have to change the way I dress in order for you to respect me. That's not my responsibility.
No,
that's
not.
You should respect me based on how I act, not what I wear.
I 1,000% agree with you.
But we're talking about the naiveness of acting like, because I'm doing this is not going to garner a certain type of attention.
Okay.
We're not saying
that it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
what
if it's like, okay, I understand it's going to bring attention, but I'm going to block it.
So this is the problem. I'll put you in this exact situation. I'm gonna put you in a hole. I'm gonna put you in a hole right now.
I don't know what it is. I'm
confused. I'm gonna put you in a hole right now.
The idea that another guy likes you just
not even that. I'm gonna put you in the hole right now. So you're saying I'm gonna block it, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna block it.
Okay.
Who cares what happens? As long as I block it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now, I'm gonna put you in the hole. So
I'm not saying who cares. I'm just saying.
You're saying why?
Scenario.
Chill.
Don't change.
You're like, no.
I'm saying, did I say who cares?
No, you're like, chill out. I'm gonna block it. Who cares if guys like it? Like, who cares if they like my photos? I'm blocking it. So you should be good.
Yes.
Right? Okay, cool. So now you're about to get married, right? Okay, cool. So if your fiance,
okay, cool.
He's gonna go ham. He really is.
So your fiance,
don't go ham on vegan.
Your fiance, I'm vegan. So your fiance gets invited to a party, right? Bunch of girls everywhere, all these girls, and they all love married men. All of them. Because girls love married men. I'll tell you right now.
They do.
They love it. All right? So your fiance gets invited to a party. He's like, yo, all my boys are all going to this party. A bunch of single girls are going to be there. But, babe, I'm married. So I'm good, right? We're going to be good. Don't worry. I'm going to get there. If anyone tries to talk to me, I'm going to show them the ring. I'm going to block it. I'm going to be good. Are you okay with him going to a party with a bunch of single girls with, their ass and their titties out? And they're just running around the room, all his single guys, all his friends. But he has the ring on. Don't worry.
Don't worry, it's locked down.
I think for me, it depends on a few things, like frequency.
Why does it depend?
And context. Yeah, no, it depends. If you're going to a party every single week, then no. Like if you're going to a party every single week, but if you're going to a party because it's someone's birthday or because, you're going because of a guy friend and it's his birthday or whatever situation.
It doesn't even have to be a party.
That's okay. I trust him.
It doesn't have to be a party though. I'm just talking about environment. It could be him at work. There's a bunch of women at work. There's a bunch of women wherever he is. There's always a bunch of women. Just for whatever
I completely trust the person that I'm with.
It's not about the
but again,
trust,
it depends on who you're with. Like there's certain people that I've been with in the past where not that I told them not to do it,
right?
But because I would never tell like a guy don't do this or don't go or whatever,
right?
But they went and I kind of like I felt like a little bit uneasy.
Why?
And that just shows me that that I'm not with the right person because I don't feel 100% confident that they would deflect everything. Whereas with the person I'm with right now, I am 1,000% confident that he would deflect because I know him. I know his personality. I know how he interacts with women. I know who he is. So I feel 100% confident that he would deflect anything that was inappropriate.
So you think
But obviously if he's going every week, then that's a different...
No, it doesn't have to, I'm not even talking about the party. I'm just talking about your argument is as long as the person's deflecting, it doesn't matter about the environment, right? It doesn't. If I'm posting, however, I'm showing my body, whatever, as long as I'm blocking, that shouldn't bother you. That's your stance, correct?
No, I'm not telling you what should or shouldn't bother you. I can't tell you that.
No, but you're
I'm just saying you shouldn't chase a woman that is... I'm saying... As a man, I personally don't think, let's talk about the clothing aspect.
Right.
You shouldn't chase a woman that's revealing if you want to be with a woman who's not. You shouldn't chase a woman that's opinionated if you want to be with a woman that's very submissive.
Of course.
What you want is what you should chase. Don't try to change a person because that is never gonna work 100%.
Yeah.
You will someone who's very opinionated, you're never gonna get them to be 100% submissive and someone who's opinionated is someone who's opinionated.
Yeah.
That's just who they are. It's a core personality trait. So don't chase them if that is not something that you want.
This is where things get confusing because there are many women that aren't necessarily, posting certain ways because that's just how they are. They do it during their single periods, and they chill out when they get in a relationship, right? So navigating that type of person, you can't tell a guy well, you knew she was she actually when she was in a relationship before, whenever I saw her, who she was dating some other guy, she wasn't doing that. Then she had this time period being single, and then started posting like this. so I've seen that she can do it, right? So you can't just assume.
That's different though. Wait.
No, I'm
Because
saying,
in that situation, you're seeing her in a relationship and out of it. So you know that she is a person who dresses revealing when she's single, but dresses differently when she's not. And like that tells you something about.
If you don't know that scenario, are you saying a guy has to assume that because she's like this, she's always gonna be like this?
That's true.
Like, because you're basically saying like you met her posting a certain way, you know she can't change.
Yeah, I see how
That's
that can be
not true.
confusing, but at the same time you don't want to. You should
single.
never go into a relationship thinking that I want to change this about this person because
that's not what I'm saying.
changing somebody is such a huge task.
Yeah.
It's such a huge task, like to change somebody's core. Like
I definitely agree.
You know, it could be anything. Like it doesn't have to be the clothing thing. It could just could be a personality trait. Like if you want to be in a relationship with somebody who is super like that's happened to me before. I feel like I can only be like. I could only marry someone who is ambitious. I cannot be with somebody who's not. And then there's been other relationships where I thought like, but they'll maybe they're down right now, or maybe they're just like going through a lot, or maybe they're this, or maybe they're that. And
you
it's
give
like,
them excuses.
no,
you give them excuses.
They're not. They're just not an ambitious person. They're a person who's okay with like this, and that there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not something that I want in my life.
Right.
So I'm not saying don't feel what you feel. I'm saying when you're choosing, don't be choosing to change.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just choose wisely. Know what you're getting.
Yeah, it was a big point you said before though about how in past relationships that uneasiness told you I'm not with the right person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I think a lot of people definitely ignore that feeling because they think like.
And I did too. I ignored it for a while, and you know why? Because when you're in a relationship and you've fallen for somebody. And then you like realize certain things, you're already invested in that. Your emotions are already there. So like it's like a family member. If they do something wrong, you're gonna do something to like want to protect, like
do whatever.
You naturally want to protect it, and you naturally want to think the best in the person because you have shared such special moments with them.
You try to fix.
Yeah.
And
rather than
we
accept.
Can't fix. We cannot fix.
It's crazy in terms of relationships because when you reach that stage, it's like people who reach that moment. They end up breaking up for like the next 5 months or so. You know what I mean? Like people who break up in a relationship,
they're slowly.
Like it's a slow breakup. Like their mind
because
is already.
Because you keep thinking, what if, maybe, if this, but I love him, but and you keep thinking that it's gonna like mend itself.
Yeah.
But
it's not. People do that in marriage too. That's why people wake up at like middle age and they're like, I can't stand this person.
But see, I think this is like such a crazy age we live in, and in a good way, in a sense where it's like. Our parents and their parents and their parents, so forth. How many old people have you come across? Like I've come across a few old people in my life where it's like they're married and you know that they
love each other.
They love each other, and then I've seen ones where they know that look, I married this dude, and it's like we're just together.
That's so
they're
sad.
putting up with each other.
It's like it's an agreement.
It's sad, but it's a real thing. They've had kids, like they love their grandkids, but it's like I'm no longer in love with this person.
Yeah.
But now. I feel like it's getting to a point where it's a little bit more acceptable to just be like, you know what, this isn't working out for me. Like, and like just understanding that if it doesn't work with you, there's gonna be like someone else somewhere where it might work out.
Yep.
Like we don't feel as binded, like literally binded.
Dude,
and that's why I hate when people compare. Like, well, back in the day, like my grandmother
longer.
wasn't just like divorcing my grandpa anytime she was mad about something. I'm like. Well, there's so many other like socioeconomic factors and everything to why your grandma wasn't leaving.
The family shame.
We're living in a completely different time. So I hate when people compare like our relationship standards now to back then because it's a completely different time.
Yeah. Your grandfather only knew of who was in the same city at this point.
Exactly.
They like literally only knew the same city. Like you did long distance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? So that's how I was long distance, and it's like even that statement alone is actually kind of nuts when you think about it.
It is.
Because in the 20s, there's no way I'm meeting a girl in friggin' Vancouver unless I'm going to war or something like that. And then I'm stopping there to go to Japan. You know what I mean? Like that's the only scenario where that happens.
Yeah.
So in this day and age, it's normal to just say to someone, I met this girl on the other side of the country.
Yep.
And we talk
now we're both
all
moving.
the time. Now we're dating. Like that's normal. Right?
And everyone's like, sure.
I was like,
cool.
That's cool.
All right.
One more question, if you have one, for us, just to kind of wrap up, if you do have one, something you could think of.
I would say, okay, why do guys not just be honest when they just want to have a sexual relationship and nothing more?
We talked about.
You don't want that energy.
You don't want the honesty.
You don't actually want that energy.
But I do.
No, you don't.
I've been.
You'll feel used. If every guy actually did, say you ran into 10 guys and they all gave you the real.
Okay.
Say 10
like
guys.
back to back, like just like that's what I'm about. That's it.
Listen, back to back to
I got a
back to
perfect
back to
example of
back.
this.
You'd be like, yo, what? Like eventually you'd be like, wow. Like,
But then doesn't it avoid all the other arguments and
course.
BS of like,
Yes,
well,
sir.
you made it seem
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
we were gonna be together
Sure,
and now
sure.
this
Yes
is all
and
that
no.
you want.
Sure.
She's
Yes and no.
nagging you and she's just
I
be
think in an
quiet.
ideal world, it 1,000% would avoid all those conversations, right?
Yeah.
We've spoken about this in the past. Like, guys will say certain things basically to let the girl down in a certain way to not make them feel as bad, right? So it's like, for example, it's like, I'm not ready for a relationship right now. You might have heard that or another guy say that. I'm not ready for a relationship right now, but I promise you, if the girl of my dreams walks by tomorrow,
I'm gonna be with her.
I'm ready for a relationship. Right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I was watching, you heard of that movie Whiplash?
Yes.
Right? I don't know if you watched it, but there's a scene in the movie, like this dude is he's like a prodigy on the drums, right? And he meets this girl. This girl falls in love with him. He sits her down at lunch and he just straight up says to her, he's like, we gotta break up. And they've been together for like a month and she's in love with him. And she's like, why? And he's like, well, because I wanna be great at this. I wanna be great at
my profession,
what I'm
doing right now.
And I know that I'm gonna spend all my time doing this unless with you, you're gonna resent me because I'm
he's playing it out.
like,
Yeah,
you're
like
gonna
letting her
resent me
know.
because I'm all on this. And like
That's
but because like you're resenting me for it, I'm gonna try and like make this relationship
And
work.
accommodate.
And I'm gonna take time away from my profession and it's gonna start making me hate you. And like everything he was saying was completely logical.
It's the
like,
real, yeah.
It's so real, but she looked at him and was like, you were like psychotic for saying this. And when her response was like, yeah, I feel like that's how a lot of women would respond.
Right.
Yeah.
If I was being 1,000%.
Okay, but for me, it's
that's
for me, it's the opposite. I've been in a lot of instances where we're going through these motions of like dating, but
That's already the
nothing's
problem.
that's already the problem.
That's the problem right there.
Nothing's coming of it. So I take it as like, okay, you're not like
Serious.
putting a line in the sand that we're gonna be anything. So I'm not gonna cut you off. I don't need to like be mad and cut you off. You're not wifing me. I'm mad. I'm out of here. So I'll just be like, okay, we're doing what we're doing. I'm taking it for what it is. We're doing what we're doing. I'm still gonna date, see other people, just go with the flow. And they're mad at that. And I'm like, well, I put you in the box that you kind of wanted to be in.
Well,
I put you in the box that you wanted to be in.
Yeah.
And now you're literally screaming and angry with me
The problem-
because I put a title on
you
it
guys don't
for
like your
you.
own sauce.
No.
You guys don't like your own sauce.
Don't you guys.
Don't you guys.
Not you guys.
Don't
Big
you
fan,
guys.
man.
Don't-
But you know what it is? Like I said,
You guys made the sauce, but you don't like the taste of it.
Yeah,
Like, come on.
Shut up, man. Like I said, that's a bar, but I'm cheese. Anyway, like I said earlier, like this stuff is primal. So like,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it's kind of sickening to a certain extent, but women and men, like we don't like to share in certain situations, right?
Yeah.
So the problem is a guy.
Men don't like to share, but they like to eat.
Yeah, a guy.
Goddamn.
Men and women.
Are you serious?
Men and women will literally put themselves in situationships by doing boyfriend girlfriend things with each other, even though they're not dating.
But want to be boyfriend girlfriend.
But it's two-sided though. Like, come on. Like, I know that if I'm taking you out to a movie and I'm talking to you every day and we're eating, like, in the back of my mind,
You like it to happen.
I know that you're like, yo, she likes this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah.
Right? But I also know in the back of your mind that you know that we're doing boyfriend-girlfriend things, so just no like label on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when it's
How do you know what she knows in the back of her mind?
you confirmed it. You know this. Come on. Stop being silly.
You
Come
know
on.
what we doing.
Nah.
Stop this.
You're gonna tell me.
I think men should be honest about their
Oh,
intentions.
no, we're saying
and
that's-
women too should
That's
be
not the
honest
statement.
about
That's
their
not the
intentions.
statement. That's not the
That's
statement.
not the statement,
We're
though.
saying, are you gonna play stupid? Like you don't know if you're going on dates, dinners, this and this, meeting family, meeting friends, meeting this. You don't somewhat feel like this is a little more than just talking. You at no point feel like it's a little more than just
Wait,
talking.
I thought you were saying you're doing those things when you just want to sleep with someone.
No. We're saying you know he's doing those things and you're both kind of like, this kind of feels like boyfriend stuff, even though there's no title
But there's
right now.
no title.
You
Like, it's
feel-
not moving
you
anywhere.
feel like,
But are you referring to like a relationship that's strictly like more sexual, or a relationship that's gonna turn into a relationship?
no, there's nothing. When she's saying when nothing is titled, but we're doing
We're
these
doing
things.
all relationship
There's part of you
stuff
that you're like,
things.
what?
You know,
like, you're
like,
like, this kind of
What is
feels...
it? There's a question mark up here.
There's a flag in your head that
It's
goes
not. We're not
off,
just
and it's
talking
like,
anymore. We're not just talking.
Okay.
When there's a
like-
question mark, I don't like you.
They're like-
I'm sorry.
This is what-
I don't do question marks.
This
I
is
don't do
like
question
trending in a
marks.
direction that we probably
should say
shouldn't be
something.
going. Right?
We should say something.
It's weird. Like maybe you can agree with this, right? But I know pretty quickly whether or not I'm gonna date a girl.
I
Right
do
away.
too.
Right away.
Like
right
I-
away.
probably.
know.
I think the
probably
gut
within
feeling
first
knows,
week.
but then you always like have like a maybe.
I know where it's
No.
and where it's not going.
If it's a, if it's a,
for guys, like, I
if it's
can
a
tell
maybe,
you.
if it's a maybe, you move her there
Yeah.
automatically.
If it's a maybe, automatically. But if it's a yes,
If it's
you
a
know within
for
the
sure-
week.
yeah.
Like you
What
know
is it
within the,
dependent on? What are how?
I think it's
give me an
different for every
example-
person.
Give me an example of something that you're like, okay, yeah, she's going in the maybe pile right now.
like something she does or did. It would, honestly, it's not even a set thing. It's just
Yeah.
like they might just do one thing. You're like, this is never gonna be my girlfriend. like they just want to do one thing.
It's not
Nope.
one big-
Like no,
it's not one
Ryan
big
said
thing.
the laugh.
Yeah.
Huh?
They might laugh wrong, and he's like, no.
I'm dead serious. That
Yeah.
was one.
Yes, the laugh.
Yo,
I took a girl
I've
for
always said,
yeah.
if you hate someone's laugh, that's God's way of telling you you're not supposed to be with them.
I joke around and laugh too much for me.
I want you to
for me to
laugh.
not
I
like your
want
laugh.
you to laugh.
And then the joke's gonna be ruined every time
Yeah.
you decide to laugh.
Yeah.
I've never hated someone's laugh.
That's
I
a
don't
good
know.
That's okay.
thing.
It's good.
That's a good thing.
No, I mean like in general. I never met a person. Oh my God, their laugh
You
is
just
like.
haven't met the right person, or the wrong person, I should say.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I've met people where their laughs are horrendous.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right.
I just find
have,
like
I have.
all laughs interesting.
There's always a moment. There's a moment where you're like, this is never gonna be my girlfriend.
I think
Yeah,
just
and
like,
I'm sure you feel the same for
Yeah,
like,
for guys.
You
yeah,
might be with a guy
for
you're like,
sure.
we're never gonna see each
Yeah,
other
we're
again.
never.
And
They say
for
certain
me, I
things,
hate
they do certain
wishy-washiness.
things.
Like if I go on a date with you and I don't feel like I know what the next step is, I don't like you because I don't. Not that it has to be said. Oh my
don't have
God,
to
you're
know
going to
every
be my
time.
girlfriend, but if I feel like
What- like you're trying to
uneasy
go in a
about like what
direction.
are we, that never
After
ever.
what, the first day?
No, but like
Yeah.
any.
What's
not
your timeline
right
for
after
that?
the first
What's
date.
your timeline to know? Because you
I
seem
don't know.
controlling. So
The
let's go.
You seem controlling.
No, let's go. Because
Do I really seem
when
controlling?
you need to know this?
I'm
You
so.
just said I'm uneasy. I don't
so
know where this is going.
uneasy.
After what? After what? A week?
Because it's like it's too. That's when I get those vibes. Like you're just trying to sleep with me.
But
And
when
I'm
you
like,
need to know? When you need to know the direction?
It doesn't need to be explicitly
Oh, it
said,
does.
like in word. No, it doesn't.
I'm not sad, but when you need
But
to
like
feel
you
it
just
or no.
feel it. You feel like through
But if
conversation. Through.
you're just contradicting yourself. If you just feel it, how are we go? Like
I don't know. Like my man never told me that we were gonna be serious, but we knew from like the first date.
This
We
is
knew
kind
like
of
this
wild,
is
This
it.
is a contradicting statement
There
right
was-
now. You're contradicting each other in the
How?
Yeah, because you just said you said.
Because I'm a definite.
She's saying,
like,
I
It's
need
like
to know.
I need to know, but
I
you're
need
like
to
it's a
know.
vibe thing.
I need
so
to
it's like,
feel.
And
one
why
day we're
I
just-
say
But
why
you don't
I
have to say like, oh, we are gonna be serious, but
She
by
need-
your actions and your
for
intentions,
She
me,
you
for
needs
see
me,
it.
that.
like I used to be like that. Like you just kind of know, you have an idea. But the times that I have done that,
Where you think it's something.
where we just think,
It ends up
and
messy.
it ends up messy, and then there's nothing. There's no. It kind of plateaus, and then I go on back to redirecting my focus to myself. And then I'm getting yelled at, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like,
and
okay,
you
but
still
we,
haven't had a conversation
okay, but
yet.
why are
we
you
haven't
mad?
had any. Yeah, this is like, why are you mad? Because
I'm on her side. I'm a bold person. I need to be
Yes.
like, we're never gonna be together. Are you okay with that? And she's like,
yeah,
I guess.
And
It's
I feel
okay,
like
cool.
men
guess.
go.
See, I respect
And it's
that.
like whatever
Men-
happens after that,
You
it's like,
chose
I
this.
think that
You
if
chose
men
this
want to
life.
have just a sexual relationship, that's okay. But you still need to treat the woman with respect. Like,
Oh, no,
of course,
but
you're,
it's
just
about
because you're just having sex with her
this guy's
doesn't
just
mean.
an idiot
Saying
about
about respect.
No,
Mama.
I'm
Saying about respect.
No, I'm
like,
saying like in
hold
the
on.
relationship, you're still nice to her. You're not gonna
Yeah.
be like rude,
They're
but you
always
just
nice.
let it be known that like that's not like you're not. When a guy says like, oh, I'm not really looking, like I'm not ready for a relationship. Okay, that means you're just not like you don't like me.
That's not true.
Yes,
It's not-
it is.
No, it's not. No, it doesn't.
You
mean we
said
don't-
if there was a girl that you liked that like you're
Yeah,
not
I
ready
like
for,
her more. I like her more. That's
Doesn't
what
mean,
it is.
doesn't mean there's
Like,
zero potential for you. That's
yeah,
not what they're saying.
The problem is like I know right now, like off rip, I just can't date you right now, right? And I know,
Okay.
and I know girls think the same way sometimes, right? I know
And
they
you'll keep
if
him around.
a guy ever told me that, he would be canceled forever.
No, he's saying
do
you think the same way.
Have you met a guy before?
No, it's a
that
yes
you
or
were
no.
kind of like
not at the right stage of my
not at
life.
the right
Like I
stage
got
right
things
now.
going on.
I do like you, but not
I
at this
do
stage
like you,
right
but
now.
like I.
If
can't-
I'm in that mood where I'm not sure if I want to be in a relationship with you, that means that like I probably don't like you.
How much time is this? Like how? When you determine it? Like 3 weeks of talking.
I need to know. Look,
she's making these decisions so quick. Like I know it.
No, it's not that quick. I think like back in the day when I first started, like not first started dating, but years ago, I think I was so confused because I never liked anybody. I never had serious relationships. Like I literally had 2 serious relationships, including the one that I'm in right now, and the last one doesn't even really count, right? But before that, I had no. So I was just always like. I always felt like I was doing something wrong. Like maybe I just need to give him a chance because like I just didn't like anybody.
Okay. Well,
so that's why I'm saying I would like think, but it would if I was thinking like I don't know, like I'm not sure, it was always a no.
Yeah. I think the flip side then to this question for me is like, okay, you're like, why aren't guys just more assertive? Direct.
Because I've always heard if a guy wants you, he's gonna go for you. Like, and he's gonna let you know, I wanna be with you. So
that's facts.
Okay.
Get into shape so I can be with you.
So let me say this, right? You say be with you, or it's like I wanna sleep with you, right?
Yes.
So my thing is this, like for me, sex is very important, right?
Yes.
And it's like I would much prefer to not have to wait of however time,
whatever months, 6 months.
See, and they're not gonna play into that, right?
And this is my thing. I'll say
if we're being honest,
I'll say this off rip right now. So there's no confusion.
Myself personally, I would play.
I'll say this off rip. There's no confusion.
Yeah, I feel
right?
like you would.
When it comes to like sex, it's like that happens when the woman decides it's gonna happen, right? Like I don't.
Yes.
It's not like I'm saying we're having unless I'm dating you. Like you know what I'm saying? The dynamics.
But you would prefer, yeah.
But my argument is, I feel like I can't just say, look, this is a very important of like any relation to me. I need to know if we're compatible. Like,
yes.
In that regard, because I don't want to get to know you all this time, spend months getting to know you.
That's the problem.
I'm the exact same way.
Find out we have sex and we're literally not compatible. It's not that it's trash. It's like I don't feel anything.
Yeah, I'm the exact same.
I do not relate to that at all.
Yeah.
I relate to that because it's like for me, I'm the exact same way. Like I don't feel like, we need to wait until this magical, perfect time to like go there. And I also feel as though this societal norm, like, like one night stands and sleeping with each other on the first date, I feel like it's bullshit. Like for myself personally, the 2 serious relationships that I've been with, I slept with them within a week or 2 of knowing them, which is considered early in some people's standards. You know what I mean? So I just don't feel like you need to put this magical, like, padlock of time on when you're supposed to sleep with someone.
Okay, so to close this real quick.
So I feel like that's why I end up in these situationships because we're sleeping together and then you're not showing me any relationship dynamic and then I'm just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go do relationship stuff with other people and now
so
you're not.
If we're gonna wrap this up, close this right now because we're over time. For you guys to both answer this question right now.
Yes.
You both we've agreed you guys both want forward speaking people, right?
Yes.
Forward guys, tell me what you want, right?
Yes.
So are you guys both okay if you're obviously engaged, but answer hypothetically? Would you guys both be okay with if you meet a guy, you like him, and he's like, okay, listen, let's have sex today. I just met you today, but let's just get it. Let's have sex tonight. We both vibe today.
Okay.
Let's go to your room, go to my room. Let's have sex tonight. If this is good, then let's pursue this. If this is bad, can we just kill this? Are you guys both comfortable with that conversation? Off rip, because that would be my conversation.
I feel like you would be, but I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because I am a very like emotionally sexual person. I could never have sex with somebody that I'm not. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very. So what you were saying, I don't relate to that because I could never have sex with somebody like that I recently like. I feel like I need like the emotional connection. Otherwise, it's gonna be trash.
So because for you, you're saying that like the emotional connection helps with the sex.
It makes the sex
right?
good. If there's no emotional connection, the sex is gonna be garbage.
I completely
And I can't make that. Me personally, some people can.
Yeah.
I can't make that emotional connection within like a week or whatever. I need time for that. But everyone is different. I have friends that I know that for sure they would be okay with that.
Yeah.
They would be okay with that. They'd actually prefer that because it's like, okay, now I don't have to pretend like I'm waiting and like some girls just want to have sex.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. And some girls just don't want to have to pretend like, I like him, so now I have to like abstain even though I really want to have sex with him.
So he doesn't think this and think
exactly,
that.
Yeah.
It's all, as you said, it's all a game.
So every woman's different.
So that's like, honestly why I asked that question because I've been in
that happens to you all the time, bro. And then they're cry after that.
I'm stressed.
They're so sensitive, but you weren't sensitive. You just
Yeah.
Nothing.
Thank you, ladies.
I get frustrated for you. Thank you so
ladies.
much, guys.
Let them know where they can
Plug yourselves real quick.
Plug.
Personal and business. Go ahead.
At Draymus, Draymus.
And I am at Jenika S. Dixon, JENIEKASDIXON. And together we are at Floor Play. So it's the number 4, then the word 4, and then play.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
You said plug.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Another episode of WNTT TV. We out. See you.
Peace.
Hello?
We need to talk.
We need to talk.
We need to talk. We need to talk.